Morning, everybody, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in. If you are watching this on replay and you're not here with us right now, I just want to say God bless you and thanks for being here. Usually, this is when I'm just kind of like getting myself situated so that I could welcome anybody that's coming. There's AJ Blunt, which I can normally count on as being first. I could normally count on you or another one is mad about his shape, but for lately it's been AJ Blunt has been coming in here first for the last I don't know few times. And so I just want to say that I don't know how many of you are flat earthers that like follow the normal scene, right? When I was over in Arwen's chat, sometimes I gotta go places, right? Where and I've known Arwen for a lot of years, right? But he's definitely not on my side spiritually, right? He has his own spiritual beliefs, and that just happens to be contrary to mine, right? But I was over in that chat because he has a lot of good stuff on the jab, right? So things I can learn about the hey Verna, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And so I'm over there learning about that, and we ended up getting into like kind of a theological argument, and I'm a little bit fired up from that. A little bit upset about that because he was basically telling me like. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I mean, basically, he was telling me that I was talking about things I didn't understand, when I mean I've read through the whole Bible, several times, and read the New Testament books probably 20 or 30 times each, right? And he's read them like zero all the way through, and it just bothers me when somebody says that they understand. It's kind of like um, just pride, pride. But then that makes me not want to get into my pride. I don't want to go in there and do any kind of like, retaliation or point it out or anything. It's just really a lesson for me to know to move on, it's time to move on, and really like I moved on really last year, but like now it's at the point where, whatever. Well, we're yeah, it was today, but yeah, don't. I mean, I would rather not even open that door anymore, But thank you, Tony, for asking me. We have enough trouble of our own, with our people, with our own people. Um, we run two totally different channels, and I wish I could have you up here if we're gonna talk about you. I wish I could have you up here as a voice, but like you have a channel that's about pointing out evil, and it's necessary. We got to point out people that are doing evil and deceiving our brothers and sisters. And then I have a channel that is like, we want to be open, right, to let people in here, but it's a narrow road. Like, we don't want to open the road so wide that we end up with 40 new people in here, and there's more new people than regular people, and our regular people get overwhelmed. I don't want that either. I want to let people in one at a time, sharpen them up, and this is what I want in our group, because we're gonna get arguing, right? We're gonna argue because that's the whole point of sharpening each other up. Maybe you have a view on something, right? And I have a view on something, and we're gonna fight, right? We're gonna argue about it, right? Because we don't want to give up our footing of what we learned, right? What we know so far, right? And it's not just between me and you. Probably you won't get in any arguments with me because I'm super open. But let's say that there's a lot of fundamentalist people in the chat. If we end up arguing over something, right, as a group, right, I think that the main point is to come back here tomorrow fresh, like it never happened, right? Come back tomorrow fresh. Don't ever leave here or feel ganged up on and then not come back. That's the key, right? Because maybe the people won't see your point of view the first time you bring it up, but maybe there's another time that you bring it up and something will click in somebody's head, and that will sharpen us up as a group, right? Because in order to be a truther, right, get through flat Earth, get through the transgender agenda, get through the news, all the fake news, right? Get through all the health stuff, right? You then finding someone that does truth and the Bible, right? But by the time you're done finding somebody that does all those things, right? It's very hard to make it to this chat room, because it's not. We're not advertised. We're not promoted by YouTube, right? It's very difficult to get to this chat group. It's word of mouth to word of mouth to word of mouth to maybe you see me in a group, maybe I seen you on a channel and asked you to join. A lot of you guys, I mean, honestly, out of 1,200 people are handpicked, handpicked. Probably half of you, right? It's most of my growth has been I'm over in another truth channel, and I'll put a message, hey, please join my group. Like I'll like the comment that somebody wrote, hey, please join us, we're a small little group. I hope you join us. I don't know if any of you have joined me that way, but I know a lot of you have. And so yeah, we're just kind of going through. Oh yeah, it says Stephen more than Flame was on yesterday, and he will probably come on tonight about tribulation. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great, man. Bible, Jesus, etc. You would be perfect. I would love to do that. And you know what? I think that today is a better day than yesterday, Tony, because yesterday, like I had been kind of like running on fumes. Like I stay up through the night to research for my show, so that way I have something fresh to tell people in the morning, so that they could start here. Kind of, find out what's kind of going on, and maybe get a little a message for the day, some kind of motivation, and then to move on to their other truth channels, And so I kind of work through the night and then have an idea, an outline of what I want to do, And so I've been kind of running on fumes and then, having to go to sleep. But today I go to the dentist, right? Which it's not much better, right? But I have to go somewhere today. I have 2 appointments. One of them's the dentist, but I'll be home like around 3 in the afternoon or 4, meaning about 7 o'clock your time. Now I might sound like a fool. I might talk like this or whatever, but I'm trying to get all my dental work done all in one group, all in one chunk, so that way I could limit the amount of time that I have, like less than a full set of teeth. It's a very much a vanity thing. I don't want to spend, a few days of my life having less than a full rack of teeth. Not that I'm better than anybody who doesn't, because if I didn't have everything lined up right, I would be in that same boat. So I just want to say welcome to everybody that's here. Even if it is 5 in the chat, these are 5 people I know I can count on. And you know what, Verna, welcome. I don't know how long you've been a subscriber, but I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you caught it live, And, I went to multiple places. Sometimes I don't always go to places that are, Christian or whatever for my research. But I'll tell you what. Last night I started out in Pete's, Pancho Pete's. He was playing the guitar and all that, and showing some, some transvestigation stuff. I'm learning some stuff about how to do it myself, And one of my good friends on YouTube, at least a friend of mine in real life that I've seen her, Michelle XX, like Pete was a fan of hers, right? And so the other night, right, I texted her and she came in and talked to Pete a little bit, and you know what? Pete was like overjoyed by that. Like he really was very gracious about the whole thing, and it made me feel happy because it makes her feel good, and that she's making a difference out there. And he said that she was one of his favorites, and so that makes me happy, and it makes me want to collaborate with, since we all have overlapping subscribers, right? That maybe that one day I'll do a show with Michelle Double X and Pete, or Michelle and Pete and Tony, or however it works out, or maybe maybe I'll collaborate with I also know Paula from Level Up. She used to be the Bible literalist, and sometimes she comes in, and I think it would be a good. I think it would be a good thing to have um, some people working together because I think that there's overlap. I think they keep us trapped. This is how I think they keep us trapped because in this chat, right? If you make it here, the people that come here on a regular basis, right? Usually I have like 12 or 13, or whatever by the time, the show is over. They come live in about 60 that watch it in the first couple minutes it's out, right? And so I'll say this: the people in here are strong people that would be there for each other if we um, had an issue or something that we needed help with, right? Whether that's emotional support, whatever, right? And um, I think that it's wise counsel, right? So if we have a problem, we can kind of bounce ideas off each other, right? But the way they keep us separated, right, is they'll have a truth channel that does flat Earth, and they won't talk about the transgender stuff. They won't talk about the fake news. They won't talk about the health stuff or whatever, right? Then they'll have a transgender channel that only talks about that. Then they'll have a channel that only talks about Freemasons or whatever, and they split it up. They split it up, right? And not everybody is into everything, right? But if we can get like someone from each one of those groups together, right? Then we'll have overlapping people that will come and watch all of us and realize that, hey, look, maybe I got to put up with a truth that's uncomfortable for me. Like, say you end up in Tony's chat, right? That's some uncomfortable stuff to have to know that there are children out there suffering right now, being victimized, right? Yeah, it's not comfortable for anybody, but it's reality. It's what's happening. In our neighborhood right now, there's children being victimized. And so we have to take that seriously, whether we want to hear about it or not, right? And so I think that if we do some overlapping stuff, right, have a show together, I don't know, I'm still working on how to collaborate with that, but I want the main focus to be that we all are, believers in what Jesus did for us on the cross, right? Because if we don't have at least that in agreement, right, then I don't see any kind of venture really working, because if it's the reason why we're in the mess that we're in, right, is because people reject the truth. People have been rejecting the truth in favor of what they want to believe, right? And just like in the garden, right, Adam could have ate from that tree of life and everything would have been great, right? But instead he wanted to eat from that tree of good and evil, right? He wanted to define good and evil for himself. He didn't want to take God's word for it, what's good and what's bad, right? Because really that's how we know, that's how we even know what good and bad is. God defines that for us. That's how we know what an evil person is, because we wouldn't know if that action was evil. We wouldn't know, maybe that's good. We don't know, right? I'd like to think we would, but really God defines that, right? And if we can, and that's what's been happening year after year after year. Our governments have been redefining what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, and it keeps getting more and more weird, and it keeps getting more and more out there. Now trust me, I want to be inclusive. I want to welcome all different kinds of people. I like all different kinds of people. I'm naturally a tolerant person, right? I mean, if anything, I would say it's an effort for me to be a Christian. It's an effort for me to do that, right? Because that's not my natural state. My natural state is live and let live. Everybody do what they want. I don't worry about nothing. YOLO, it's all good, right? But the reality is that life does matter, and there are rules. And the minute we start saying that every path is the right path and every path is good and acceptable, now you're opening the door for evil people to put their path in and say, well, you said every path was good, and so this is our path and this is what we do for our religion, right? And that's what happens, right? It starts with an inch, right? You give an inch, and then you end up giving up a mile. And then what happens is when we want protection from that evil, right, we trade some of our freedom for some safety. And if you trade any amount of your freedom for any amount of safety, you don't get either one. And that's what's been happening. We gave up a lot of rights during the Patriot Act. We gave up a lot of rights during this, what's going on right now, and all for invisible enemies, enemies that we don't see. Nobody from Iraq ever did me any wrong ever, and I was in the army during 9/11. Nobody from any Middle Eastern place ever did me any wrong. Granted, I was never deployed, but just in general, as an American, none of these people have done anything wrong to us, right? Personally, on a personal level. And number one, they didn't even do it. But let's but let's imagine if it was real, right? Even though I hate even doing that, right? Because it's not. It's all invisible enemies, right? And as soon as you start having invisible enemies, right, then it's a war that doesn't ever have to be finished. There doesn't have to be an ending point when you say there's a war on terror, there's a war on these invisible bugs, or whatever, right? Or war on drugs, or war on violence, right? It's a never-ending war that we don't know when it's over, and they can charge us however much money they want to for our for whatever safety we think we're getting, right? And and I stopped falling for that a long time ago. But there are people still falling for it to this day, and will fight you and believe things that are obviously not true, right? That are ridiculously not true. I mean, a helicopter on Mars. I mean, with 1% atmosphere, there's a helicopter on Mars. I mean, people will believe that, instead of realizing that they've been lied to, that it's all a sham, that Elon Musk didn't send a car to, what is it, a car to Mars. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. And when you snap out of the brainwashing, right? We're obviously not moving, man. Once we snap out of the brainwashing, it's obvious, man. It's we look at that globe so much, man, and we hear about it so much that we believe it, And you were in Iraq, Rowan. Well, much respect. I did a lot of work on the SRP mission, which is right before you leave, when you get all your shots and stuff. I did all the stuff for records, for the Soldiers Readiness Program. And so I didn't actually deploy. So once everyone was gone from Fort Carson, then I was transferred to a reserve base and activated into active duty. But man, much respect, and I'm glad you're home and you're safe. And I really appreciate your work, Rowan. I check out all of your videos. Everyone that subscribes to me, right? Even if you have a couple, even if you only have 10 subscribers, right? If you ask me to sub, I will, and I'll watch all of your videos. I have no problem doing that. I mean, it does take me a while to do all that, but I appreciate it. That's how I started. I mean, I started with only 80 subscribers just because I was nice to people and had a lot of friends, But, really, when I got to me and Tom started, and I had 80. And when we got up to like 150, I was really surprised by that. I was like, wow, 150 people really want to listen to us on the way to work, like that's crazy, And, but, that's how it all starts, Okay, this helicopter on Mars, right? It's like a rover thing, right? But it had like helicopter, had a parachute, right? And then a helicopter thing that it went to the ground, right? It wasn't like a helicopter, right? But it had like helicopter, like propeller on the top, and a parachute, right? And I mean, come on, man. There's no air. There's no air up there, right, for a parachute or any kind of helicopter. So I don't know. You can look at it. That last thing they landed on Mars, some kind of rover, but like it did some kind of, I don't know, some kind of helicopter motion. It was just, well, obviously when you see it, it's CGI, but this is what they're saying happened, in reality. That's what they say. And so, yeah. Oh, okay. So you have an old YouTube. Oh, okay. Cool. Has anybody seen that thing with that little helicopter thing on the rover? I, so yeah, it was a CGI. It is CGI. There's no doubt about it. If there was a vacuum of space, there's no way. If an engineer came to me with 1% atmosphere and someone said, "Oh, let's do a parachute and a helicopter," that would be ridiculous. Hey, Shepherd's Voice, how you doing? Yes, yes. How would I pronounce that? Yahweh, right? Yahweh, Yahweh, Jehovah, right? And I always just say Jesus because that's the representation that I see, that I could feel, you know. But I do pray to the Father, and it's just it's amazing. Our God is amazing that we can we can picture our God in three different ways, If we need the Spirit inside of us, right, then we have God working with us, right? And if we need to pray to Jesus and talk to him face to face or talk to our Father, we can, right? And I think it's great. Yahweh, okay, I'll pronounce it like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's crazy that people will believe it. So my point is people will believe that in place of believing that there's a God, or in place of believing that someone would, plunge them full of poison, or whatever, right? And look, hey, this channel is all for parody. None of what I'm saying is true. I'm not giving any advice for anyone to do anything. It sucks that we have to say that, but it's a shame because I wasn't at one point I wasn't censoring myself. I wasn't about any of that self-censoring, right? Saying jab or whatever, right? But I ended up getting caught. I got a strike. I mean, it wasn't like they give you there's 4 pictures, right? And it's a coach blowing a whistle or whatever, and so I didn't get a strike. I got a warning, but really there's 4, and I got the first one, and so now I got the 3 strikes to go. They said for community guidelines or whatever, I gave medical advice or something. They said, but do not do anything that I say unless you feel led by God. And it's on you. And so, but I'll tell you that I'm not ashamed of Jesus Christ and my love for him, and I'm not ashamed to say that I know that he's real, and I believe what he did on the cross. Uh, I'm as sure as I can be about anything. Of course, there's no way to empirically prove that a man rose from the dead, but I mean, I got as much confirmation as a man could get for that, and I'm so proud. I'm just so proud of God, how he handled that, how we created a scenario on earth that we owed a debt for something we did wrong, right? And instead of God getting rid of all of us, right, starting over, right, he gave us a way to pay, right, that we he couldn't let us off the hook, right, because then he wouldn't be holy anymore, right? He'd be shady, right? Then we'd be able to break the rules, and he'd be able to say, oh no, it's cool, don't worry about the rules, right? So he came down and he paid the price for our sins, right? He came and he fulfilled the contract that we owed, right? So that way we could be clean, he could stay holy, and we can exist with him forever. And I think that that's beautiful. And not only am I not ashamed of God, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him, and I want to speak highly of God all the time, And would you say there, Rowan? Oh, love you too. Oh yeah. No, yeah. I agree. Yeah, and so I think that we have a lot to be proud of, and we have a lot to feel good about, because we know where we're going when we die, right? And to Paul said in Romans, right, to die is to gain, right? To die is to gain. So we know that if we die, we know where we're going. We know, right? We don't have to have fear of death. Sure, I'm afraid of things like I don't want to be in pain, right? I don't want to be hungry, right? I don't want to watch my kids suffer in any kind of way, right? I don't want to. I don't want to be sick, right? Of course, right? So, but I'm not afraid to die, and I could live forever too. I don't, I mean, it'd be nice if God came back, sure, and we move on without any evil, right? That would be great. But I could live forever like this, or I could die tomorrow, or right now, or whatever, and I'd be just fine. And I'd be full of joy and peace, no confusion. I have full understanding of everything I know about. I only talk about what I know about. So if you hear me talking about something, it's because I know about it, right? Or have a very, very, very high degree of belief, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about cars because I don't know anything about cars. I'm not going to sit here and talk about, how to play the guitar because I don't know how to do that. I'm going to talk about God. I'm going to talk about the truth. I'm going to talk about things that I've learned or know from other truthers, right? And that's what you're going to get from me. And then not only that, but I want us to have a safe place where there's strong people that believe in Jesus, right? To come because we know all the truth, right? And be able to be safe here, right? Where we can bring a problem to the group and get it solved, or work on it, or sharpen each other up. Let's say, I've been acting kind of weird lately. I've been doing some things kind of like half-assed or whatever. Sorry about my language. And, my attitude's not good, right? People can tell me, hey, Steve, man, not trying to judge you or anything, but you know what? If you care about yourself, you're losing some of your shine. And it's time to sharpen up because we're used to you having a little more shine than that. And there's plenty of people out here that I love, man, and I'm like, these people are special people to me. They just shine when I see them. They know how to light up a room. They know how to bring that energy, right? And sometimes, sure, they're getting by in life, but there's something, they lost their shine. So it's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just that they need to improve something to get that shine back. And, yeah. Oh yeah, I would love to be on anything I could learn from somebody else. It would be great, It would be great. And if I do talk a little funny, just if you guys could live with that, then that's fine, I used to love doing commentary on your channel. I mean, the only problem I had with it is that I ignored my channel completely for a couple months, and I feel bad for the subscribers I had, and I also had to shut the channel down for a couple months when I was in the hospital. So I want to give my subscribers as much of me as I can possibly give them, in quality too. I mean, I always have an outline. I always do research and always have a good direction of what I want to say. Usually about 40 minutes worth of stuff, because I'm afraid people won't click on it if it's longer than that. I mean, there's some days where I just want to keep it going, because everything's going so great and the energy's good here, and but sometimes I'm afraid for that newcomer, right? That they won't click on the thing because it's too much or whatever. And so I want to be consistent, and I want to be here for everybody, And I'm trying to think of the big picture, think of everybody, But I'll tell you what, like, I'm very proud of this group here, And I'm very proud of the group you have over there, Tony. You have a good group of probably like 30 or 40 people that are pretty dedicated, And, I know that you guys have been going through a lot kind of with each other. So, there's a couple of you out there. I feel bad for Cindy, Cindy's an older lady, and she had a bad fall, and she's been on medication, so I'm really hoping that she gets better, and I hope that that things calm down with her, and I'm hoping we can get everything resolved where everyone is still friends and still loving each other, because I know that she loves you, Tony, and that she's definitely spent time thinking about you and caring about how you feel. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's great. Okay, I'll see you later, Tony. I'll stop talking about you since you're not here. But thank you. God bless you. And so, I just want to say, shout out to Cindy, because Cindy's been like one of my subscribers since I had like 150 or 100 subscribers. And it was, she's always been, been good to me, and she's always been right. Even I like to say that she's been right most of the time whenever she's given me advice, only because I'm humble for people sometimes, but really she's been right every time with me, and so I give her credit for that. And there's a lot of you like that that I count on to I know I talk to Michelle a lot. I know not that much recently, but in text. But and I know that I talked to AJ text, and I know that I talked to Shepherd's Voice, and there's a lot of you, and really, like, if you guys email me, at goodservant@yahoo.com. If you think you already emailed me, email me again, because I want to be able to give some of you my number, or on Skype. It's my Skype is Good Servant too, and you'll be able to look me up that way. But I just want to say, let's see where the time is right here. Yeah, we still got a few more minutes. Yeah, I mean, I hope Cindy comes back. I mean, she just, she fell down, and I think that she'll make a good recovery. And it says, "May Father bless you." What is that? AJM. Got your. Oh, wait, Bubba, you're bringing tears to my eyes today with your honesty and love. Oh, hey, you know what, AJ? You make me feel good, man. And I'll tell you what, this is one thing, like, when you're on the internet, the thing is we only see icons, right? We don't know who these people are at first, right? I didn't know who you were. But there's people that you talk to, and you wonder if they have like an agenda against you, or they want something from you. You don't really know what a person has to offer till you talk to them. And I'll tell you what, every time I talk to AJM, right, hey, look, he's like me. We might not always be right on everything, but he's always been real. He's always been real and authentic to me and honest to me. And he's probably, I would say probably my best internet friend. And that's just because of how much I could count on him. And he stuck there with me through some hard times. When even people were giving him a hard time, he still stuck in with me. And so I'll have that same loyalty for him for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard place that doesn't accept my buddy. It's gonna be hard for me to show up at a place like that my buddy's not allowed to go to. I probably won't go. And I'm like that with most of you guys. I would say I'm like that for probably all of you here. But it's like there's more that I know of that are subscribed to me that I would be there like that for sure. And there's people that have been there for me when I've had hard times. People have been there for me, and I really appreciate that. I mean, especially this last time when I was having my health situation, I didn't realize how bad I was health-wise. I didn't realize how sick I was. I had some things go wrong in my life also, and I was trying to take care of those things, and some people helped me out. But I didn't realize when I got to the doctor just how long it was going to take me to recover. 72 days in the hospital to recover from this thing in my stomach, that I let it go for like a year. I let it go for a year where my stomach hurt so bad every time I ate, and I was probably eating every 4 days, just because of how much it hurt. And I can't believe that I let it go. That I just kept thinking, oh, I'll take care of it another time. I'll take care of it another time. And I can't believe just how sick I was when I got to the hospital. And I'm grateful that you all stuck with me through all that. And now I'm 100% healthy. I don't have any kind of money issues. I've had money issues one time in 4 years, and it's good to know that, in order to have good friends like that, you have to be a friend. And so, I'm also willing to be a friend like that too, And so, even if you live close enough, I'll help you move, And I'm not just trying to say that, like, I really mean that. Like, those are the good times for me, because now I know what life is about, right? Life is about God. I'm here for His pleasure. And what makes him happy is to love you like I love myself. And so while I'm loving you, right, God's happy with me. And that makes me feel happy. And so, oh, I'm glad you're having a little argument in there, sharpening each other up. But, life is crazy, man. Hey, what is that called? Well, it was, I had acidosis, renal tubal acidosis, and I had some other kind of thing with my stomach acid and metabolic acidosis, and I can't remember what else. But it took me it was simple to fix, but it took me a long time to get rid of it because I let it go so long. I really let it damage me instead of getting it. It could have been easy to fix, but I just let this thing burn me up, And so I used to eat like 150 Tums a day just to get my blood pH back to normal. And it was making me sick eating that many Tums. It was literally making me sick, But I can't believe I went that long in that bad of pain. Like now that I'm like perfect health again, like I think back and I'm like, how did I survive through that? Like, why didn't I just get fixed? It was crazy. But if I ate enough Tums, I did feel normal again. It wasn't like I was suffering all the time, but it was just you just imagine eating that many Tums just to feel normal. I don't know. It's hard to picture. Like when I'd eat, I wouldn't be able to walk to the door. That's how much pain my whole body would be in. My blood would be burning me, and when I ate the Tums, a lot of Tums, sometimes I just have to sludge them up into like a cup and drink them a whole bunch at a time, 20, 30 at a time, and then I would feel normal again, completely normal. So it was a roller coaster. But either way, who wants to hear about that? I just know that when I went to the hospital, and I even came off some of my psych meds, I didn't feel really any withdrawals from that, and I know that God was showing me grace, and God healed me, because I didn't really need that much medication to fix myself, and so I'm just feeling good. Oh, I'm sorry it's buffering. Every time you talk about good stuff that edifies people, that YouTube always buffers, But I think that it's time for me to end in the stream anyway. And I'll just say that I love you guys so much, and God bless you, and praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace for us. And I know that one day I'm going to see you guys in the kingdom, and it's going to be great. I can't wait to meet, because a lot of you, I feel like I've known you before the earth, Before the foundations of the earth, God knew us. I feel like I've known some of you guys too. I feel that close to you, right off the bat. It's weird, But anyway, I'll just say that I love you, and I'm signing out. So God bless you. Have a good day.